Hello, everybody. Welcome to our 15-minute whiskey review. This is going to be a really fun one because there's a lot of controversy, I think, around this brand right now and what's, well, it's not even right now. It's, just kind of since the distillate's changed over. We're going to be reviewing Early Times. We are going to be doing the Early Times Brown-Forman and the Early Times Sazarac. So you're kind of going to get a little bit of both worlds, and you might be asking how you can tell the difference. I'm going to let Connor tell you that.
So I just found out you can tell the difference by the color of the bottle cap. My bottle cap is black. I bought this last year in Kentucky for like $25. I remember Paul and I going to a liquor store, and I was like, I need to find Early Times Bottle and Bond, and it's everywhere down there. So This is Brown-Forman because it has a black top, black screw top. Paul's is Sazarac distillate because it has the blue top. That's how you tell the diff. So mine's coming from Brown-Forman. And then in 2020, Sazarac acquired Early Times along with the Canadian Mist brand from Brown-Forman. And they are using the rest of Brown-Forman's distillate, and then they're using their own distillate from the Barton 1792 distillery once the Brown-Forman inventory runs out. So
correct. That's
what Paul has. I have, and they're using the same mash bill and aging process as well as Brown-Forman did with Early Times.
And returning Early Times to Bardstown basically returns it to the home of where it was from after a 103-year hiatus. The cool thing about Early Times is it was Brown-Forman's first acquisition back in 1923. So you had Brown-Forman was one of the few places that was still allowed to distill medicinal whiskeys during Prohibition, World War I, things like that. And so they bought Early Times so they could go through their stockpiles. And then obviously, it ended up being kind of an iconic brand. But now it is purchased by Sazerac. It is being returned to 1792 Barton in Bardstown, Kentucky. So we're going to kind of talk through the differences in what this is. Obviously, people can get very passionate about when something changes and etc. Look, at the end of the day, this is a 4-year-old whiskey. It's bottled in bond, so it's 100 proof. It's in a bonded warehouse. You're going to get a lot of really cool things out of it. So I don't think it's going to be bad. I've had a lot of the Brown-Forman Early Times, so I'm excited I don't think I've had the Sazerac version yet. So I'm really excited about diving into this.
Yeah, as am I. And like I said, I was super excited when I bought this bottle in Kentucky last February because you don't find it from where I am. You don't find Early Times Bottle and Bond, and it was super cool to see a Bottle and Bond 1 liter bottle of whiskey that everybody loves for
$29.
Yeah, so that was cool.
I think there is a little bit of a difference in the mash bills. I think. Nope, they're the same. So you're going to have here, you have a 4-year-old bourbon, 79% corn, 11% rye, 10% malted barley. And it is $25 to $30 for, like Connor said, a liter of 4-year-old bottled whiskey. When, you can turn around and see some other bottled whiskeys and, like E.H. Taylor, and you're paying way more than that. So kind of, let's dive in. Let's kind of talk about what we're getting on the nose and everything, and we'll dive into the full review. Corn bomb. I'm getting vanilla, caramel, and a little bit of honey on the nose, I think.
I get honey, too. That was the first thing that jumped out to me, was like a Honey Nut Cheerio.
It's very sweet on the nose for me. I'm very much taken back by the sweetness, I think, of the nose. There's not a lot of burn on that as well.
Yeah, it smells like... it has that classic bourbon vanilla oak mix that you always get with bourbon, but I'm struggling to figure out exactly what else is on here that I'm getting.
I think the corn, you're really getting a lot of the corn, the sweetness of the corn come through. So I just tried mine. It's a vanilla, or not a vanilla, like a caramel corn to me. And this is going to be 2 different distillates, so I'm curious to hear what you're getting on yours.
This shit's so good, bro. Oh my god.
I mean, I think what makes this really good too is the fact that it's 4-year-old whiskey. It's bottled and bond, which it has to be 4-year-old if it's bottled and bond. Obviously, I'm just trying to add that for effect. But it's $25 to $29.
What do you mean?
Can't
it has
really
to
go
be
wrong
4
with it.
years old when it's bottled and bond?
Bottled and bond is 4 years old. It has to be a minimum of 4 years old. So I was just saying the year for effect. I mean, everybody probably knows that. If you don't know that and you're listening to the show, congratulations, you learned something.
I think this is just quality whiskey, like no matter which way you look at it. Like even this hits way above its weight class. I think this is like this is definitely probably in the discussion as the GOAT budget bourbon. This is in the discussion as being the John Jones of budget bourbons, because you have early times bottled and bond, which you can argue is the John Jones or the GOAT. You have Evan Williams bottled and bond, which everyone loves. That might be the GSP. George St. Pierre for.
Are we just going down
fans.
UFC like references now?
Yeah. But there's a short list for what people always say. Okay, this is what the best budget is. Old Granddad.
We'll do a podcast about that,
though. What does Bill drink? JTS Brown.
Yeah, the Old Granddad 114 I think is the best base for an old fashioned that I've ever had.
I don't.
And
you've
been with me. You've been out with me when I wanted an old fashioned. I will ask if they have Old Granddad 114 to use as the base.
This is I get a little bit of the rye on this, even though it's a low rye. There's a little bit of a rye kick, but it's mainly a honey vanilla oak that just maintains its integrity throughout the entire palate. So it doesn't get thinner. It doesn't kick back at the end. It doesn't shoot you with alcohol kind of when you swallow it. It's very subtle throughout the entire thing, but there is a little bit of rye that makes itself known that this is indeed a 100 proof whiskey. You're not just drinking some 80 proof stuff. And I think that's what brings it all together. That's what puts the bow on it, is that little bit of rye that I get. And that is, I think, what ties this into potentially it being the GOAT budget bourbon. And we'll do an episode about that. But this is definitely going to be in the short running for one of the better, if not the best, budget bourbons that you can possibly buy.
I have to admit something. I like the Brown-Forman better. I'm not drinking it right now, but I've had early times a lot. I think I like the you get the Bart. You can almost tell it's Barton Distillery. Like you can kind of almost tell.
You know what would be a fun episode to do, and maybe it's something
blind
we do.
Tasting.
Yeah, between the two of them. Either I get a bottle up here, we do a blind tasting on a show, or we just wait till I'm in Kentucky and we do a blind tasting upstairs.
I don't know if we can find it anymore. Like I haven't seen any of the blacktops. Maybe we'll find some in Colorado over there. We'll do what we can do. I mean, we're gonna have all the equipment. We could just sit around. Well, we definitely have to do a podcast now with Matt while we're in Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, this will come out tomorrow, right? This episode, this Friday.
Yeah.
So right, today's Wednesday. So, yeah, if you guys listen to our episode on Monday, we do an internal episode that we just recorded that we explain what we're doing next week. So no spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
We're traveling somewhere and we're going to see our buddy Matt, and we can you can listen to the podcast on Monday to figure out exactly what we're talking about. But no spoilers yet.
Okay, this is a fuck yeah for me.
Oh yeah, no doubt. This is 100% a fuck yeah.
Whether or not you want to think that the Brown-Forman is better or the Sazarac. Look, I'm drinking the Sazarac. I still think it's good. I mean, I'm not going to say no to this. I'm going to buy it when I see it if I'm out. It was funny. I actually was like, I bought it so many times because I thought I was like, oh, I only have a little bit left. I have 5 bottles of this shit in my house now.
And they're all blue top?
I don't know. I actually, this is just where I've been redoing. So if you're watching YouTube, you'll see like my background's different. I've been kind of renovating the upstairs a little bit, the whiskey podcast space. So I don't know. I'll have to double check that. Maybe if I have it, then we can do it maybe when you come here, and we can just do it when you're in person when you come to Kentucky in 2 months. Either way, it's a fuck yeah for me.
Yeah, this stuff's good. This stuff's just classic bourbon, just classic 20. I mean, for a liter at $25, it's tough to beat this quality. And the Brown-Forman does have a nice little rye kick right in the middle of the palate that makes it stand out of something that's not just a cheap bottom shelf bourbon, where it's usually just like subtle notes of typical bourbon stuff, and it's usually washed down by some like alcohol aftertaste, and it's usually not the best. Like the regular early times, the black label or whatever label it is. I forgot what the color is, but this stands head and shoulders above any other, or 95% of any whiskey that is in its price category. This is blowing 95% of them out of the water.
I agree.
What are you looking for?
I was looking for someone who was going to flap it on here, and I was going to give you probably what was going to go head to head for the OG. And it's Wild Turkey 101.
Yeah, that's definitely in the talks for GOAT budget as well. We'll do a budget bourbon episode.
Yeah,
we'll
definitely have to do that. All right, cool. So definitely find it or buy it if you find it. It's worth checking out. Cool historic brand, it's been around for a long time, and definitely recommend getting it.
We have 3 more minutes. What do you want to talk about?
We don't have to fill the whole 15. I mean, it's a minimum of 15 minutes. We don't have to go a whole 15.
No, it's a maximum of 15 minutes. But I think we do. I think we owe it to the people that listened for 15 minutes on their Friday to give them an entire 15 minutes. So if you had to pick
port.
What kind of port?
Well, I have 20-year-old port in a glass right next to me right now.
So why were you drinking that?
I don't know. Just so wines and different things like ports and things, can enhance your palate and enhance your whiskey palate. And I was reading some stuff about it, and I decided I wanted to try it, and I really like it. And the 20-year-old is unreal. I mean, oh my God, it's got bourbon notes in it, and you can really taste, whiskey that is finished in a port barrel. I think I will appreciate that more now moving forward.
That would make sense. Is it a tawny port?
Yes.
Cool. So I am not. I don't do that. That's I feel like it would be weird if I brought someone back to my apartment as a 26-year-old and be like, "Hey, Connor, why do you have a bottle of port?"
I feel like I can disprove that, but we're not going to do that on the show.
Wow, we have a minute and a half.
Okay, what if you bring home a 35-year-old?
It'd just be like,
and she's like, I don't like whiskey, and then you pull out a bottle of 20-year-old tawny port, and you look like a refined motherfucker.
Yeah, I got Tito's up there on top. You take that then.
Well, you don't have to leave it out. Just put it under. It's under somewhere. No one can see it, and you just whip it out. And just like surprise. You might
maybe
might win more goodie points.
I'll have to think about that. Maybe I need to get some wine and some more spirits here rather than 100 bottles of whiskey. Maybe.
I mean, you don't have to.
Probably not. It's a fuck yeah, though. Early times, bib.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
We just wasted people's 3 minutes of their life just filling it.
Whatever. It's only 15 minutes. All right. Close it out, Paul.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening.